You're listening to Head to Head, a Star Wars podcast. Two fans, two generations, all things Star Wars begins now.
All right, well, hello everybody. I'm Eric Vansel,
And I'm Daryl Sanders.
and we are your hosts for this show. And tonight, of course, is a special show. It's an experimental show where we're going to do what a lot of YouTubers have actually done, although I don't think anybody's ever done it quite like this before. You know, usually they'll record these, right? So they'll do a show. I've even seen, I got the idea actually from a music channel where they did this with various albums and different combinations like that. But this is a little bit of a different show for us. And like I said, it's something that I don't think I've seen any YouTubers do where it's live. We're actually doing this live with an audience, should anybody chat in. And so what we're going to do is we're going to rank all the live action projects. So there's 18 in total. It's like 11 movies and 7 shows or something like that. Something to that effect. So it should be a lot of fun. I don't know, it's kind of, I've been looking forward to doing this one for a long time, actually, because these are the kinds of shows I think that are fun, and these are the types of things that I know I enjoy watching quite a bit. So, you guys, and of course, we want you guys to join us. Now, obviously, if you're not watching live, well, then it's just going to be like what you see a lot, where, we discuss it. But basically, the way it's going to work, it's a typical tier list. We're going to basically be ranking them in S tier, A, B, C, and D. There's only going to be a limited number, like 3 in S and I think like 4 in A. The most is going to be in B, and then, of course, C and D. So that's the way it's going to work. And then, of course, each of us are going to spin a wheel, and whatever movie comes up, that's what we're going to rank. So we've gamified this thing a little bit, so that way, essentially, it makes it a little bit more random and a little bit more fun rather than us just going in order and everything else. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think we might have done, I know we did one ranking show before. I think it might have been the Bounty Hunters or something. But I don't think we ever did it like this. We did do a tier list, but I don't think we ever did it quite like this.
No, we haven't.
Okay.
But I don't recall. I think we've done a couple of ranking things
Yeah, we
before.
like straight up, right, where we just talked about it and did the typical things and of course we've done a lot of top lists, right? Like, oh, here's our top 5 Jedi, or so far only David, because he was the only one that's ever actually been a member. He's the only one that saw us do top, I think it was 5 Sith Lords.
Yep.
So, still the and ironically, it's the only members only show that we've done. But it is there, and so, you guys want to sign up and be a member, I'm not even going to bother putting the graphic up. You can basically look in our description and figure that out. And of course, you can also join our Discord. We've been talking a lot on the Discord as well. So I'm not really sure who's out there watching us right now, but again, like I said, if you're watching live, you can actually participate in this and give your thoughts, maybe even sway it. Okay, so with that said, I think we got that out of the way. I think it's going to be about time to rank all of these things. So, and some of it may actually surprise you guys. Some of it might even surprise us. I don't know. I always find it somewhat fun to actually do these kind of lists. After all, this is the kind of thing that you usually do with all your friends, gathered around or whatever, where everybody argues about it, whether it's sports, whether it's music, or whether it's Star Wars. A lot of times we end up doing things like this. So, again, should be a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to basically getting this started. So, without further ado, here are our choices. Now, obviously, what's coming out this year? I mean, I know the Darth Maul animated series, but is there any live action shows coming out this year? I don't remember. Maybe Ahsoka season 2?
Yeah, I would say Ahsoka season 2 is slated for this year.
Okay. So, I mean, there's some stuff this year, but obviously, up until now, and we might update this eventually, a couple of years down the line. So, there you basically see, all the lists. And, of course, now we have our wheel. So, who wants to go first? You want to go first? You want me to go to first?
All right, Poe.
I couldn't resist. I had to say it. I had to do it.
Yes. And part of the resistance, I guess. Uh, sure, I'll go.
All right. Good. All right. So we got the wheel spinning. Let's see what movie actually comes up. And it looks like, Obi-Wan
Obi-Wan
Kenobi?
series?
Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Yes. So the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. All right. So, which tier are you putting this in? And again, I mean, let's go over like some of pretty much like how we rank these, right? So the S tier is kind of like peak Star Wars. This is like pretty much perfection, or at least close to perfection as possible. Essentially this is pretty much
Creme de la creme.
Yeah, exactly. The creme de la creme. The A-list is essential Star Wars, so it's not quite the top, but I mean it's really close, and it's still something where if somebody hasn't seen Star Wars or whatever, this is probably what you would recommend for them. And of course, B tier. Okay, that's your good Star Wars, still good, still worth seeing, but it's flawed. It has issues. There are problems. Your C tier is missed potential, right? Like maybe it was a good idea. Maybe it even had a good story. Didn't quite make the mark though. There was potential there, but they just missed the mark. And then of course the D tier just has like major
They
issues.
just don't have it.
Yeah, they just don't have it. So with that said, where are you putting the Obi-Wan series?
It's kind of a tricky one. I want to say.
And remember, just so you know, just to remind you, only 3 can go in the S tier. We have room for 4 in the A tier. B tier is going to be where most of them are going to fall. That'll be like 5 of them. 4 of them in C, and then the rest are in. But it is tough. It is a tough one.
Yeah, because it's a tough between B and C. I'm just trying to. I mean, the C part, the C is. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean,
see, that's what
it's
happens when
hard.
we spin the wheel. Yeah, and what's going to be fun about this is that by spinning the wheel, we don't really know which ones we're going to get at any given time. And so you can't, because like for instance, even if we were taking turns and say we just went in chronological order, because the way I have them listed down below, that way, the way I have them listed down below is essentially in the order of the timeline, right? Acolyte is first because it's during the High Republic, the end of the High Republic. So if we were going in order and we were just, switching back and forth, it would be easier because while the other person was talking about their choice, you could be formulating, your thoughts because you know what's coming next. By spinning the wheel, you have no idea what's coming.
But Obi-Wan in the end of itself though is always a hard project for me because like I liked Obi-Wan. I think there were some things that were missed, but I think overall, like I think it really expanded some things. Even though initially didn't want the series to
I
happen,
was gonna bring that up. You were
I didn't.
actually
I
not
know.
only
I
not only
know.
that, you were adamantly against it.
Yes, I was quite vehemently against like
We
because I was
actually
like,
had some
we're
heated discussions about it, if I remember. Like it was truly head to head on that one.
yeah. I just and now that I've seen it, I mean, yeah, sure, there were some cheesy parts to it, but overall, I think it was a cool story.
It was a good story. I mean, but I
And I love,
agree.
of
I mean,
course, I love
it's
Vader, of course, and
yeah.
the fact that how determined he was to kind of like deal with Obi-Wan, and then his whole thing with Luke, his him kind of ditching his responsibility of watching over Luke. The Inquisitors coming over to Tatooine, and almost kind of finding out about Luke, and this, and then eventually at the end, you know, she does learn about Luke, and then of course the Qui-Gon Jinn thing. I mean, it's a lot of cool stuff in Obi-Wan.
Well, the other thing I would point out too is it's the first project, I believe anyway, where they actually did the whole AI thing to use James Earl Jones from 1977. So
Yeah,
it's probably, because the problem is in the
it's
other.
the best sounding Vader too. Yeah,
Yeah, well, and I mean, the thing is like, okay, I think he did something in Rebels. Like, James Earl Jones, before he died, had done a few voice projects, notably, of course, Rogue One. But the problem is, this stuff's supposed to take place before A New Hope that he did in 77. And yet he sounds like a 90-year-old man. It's like
hmm
and it doesn't sell it. But this was the first time that they were able, through technology, to actually sell that.
I'm gonna put it in B.
All right. Gonna put it in B tier. Yeah, I don't know. I go back and forth. Ultimately, I might have if this one were mine, I probably would have put it in C, only because you talked about, the missed potential and the opportunity. The story was good, but the execution wasn't great. But there was also a lot of, I think, problems. But I mean, B the difference between B and C is going to really be interesting from a discussion perspective, because B is
Yeah,
basically like it was good, but it was flawed. And then C is missed potential. And honestly, a lot of
yeah.
these could really fit somewhere in between there.
This is like
So,
how bad was the miss? You know what I'm saying? It's this. That's the
yeah,
question. It's just like how bad was it?
right, right. No, I totally agree. And I think that that's you know, I don't have any problems with it being like, I mean, even though I myself might have put it in C, I have zero issues with it being. I mean, about the only thing I could say too that was maybe a negative, and usually I don't say this as a negative because I think a lot of times they blow stories up too much, but I also think that this was too short. This is only like 6 episodes or something.
hmm
It wasn't even the standard 8 that we usually get. So, from that perspective, but yeah, we could go either way on it. All right, let's see. Let's see which one I get. Now I'm probably gonna have to totally, because I'm not really, I purposely didn't prepare anything, by the way. Let's see what I got.
Ooh,
Ooh, I got The Force
that's the
Awakens.
Force Awakens. Okay.
Oh, I got The Force Awakens. Like right out the gate, we're doing like a sequel trilogy movie. You know what? Especially given the later ones, I'm going for B on this one. I'm going for B on this one as well, because I think that this definitely fits that good but flawed thing. I mean, it was easily the best of the sequel trilogy.
Yeah.
Most people agree that Revenge of the Sith was the best of the prequels.
Hmm.
and The Force Awakens was the best of the sequels. And again, I mean, this I think also fits that B category perfectly, where it was good, but it was definitely flawed. Of course, we're introduced to Rey. She's, for some bizarre reason, completely overpowered. Uh, doesn't have to go through as much, but I don't think it was as bad as, say, The Rise of Skywalker, where, it's just like everything is just like super easy. So I think that Force Awakens, it.
See, I'm pulling you. I think I would have put that one in C. And I mean, I can understand though. I can say I can understand why. I mean, it was the better out of the sequel trilogy, and it did have a lot of nostalgia to it, which
Mhm.
brought a lot of fans back to Star Wars, which was cool. Um, had a lot of cool shots. Cinematography was great. Um, we got to see the big three again, so that was cool. Um, I just I feel like some things were amiss, and there wasn't as much development as there could have been in some spots.
Yeah, that's
But
undeniably true. I mean,
that's
that's
why I would put it in C. But I understand. I understand why you put it in B too. So yeah, at least we just said it. Like we're gonna go. These are gonna be the tough ones.
yeah, it's definitely going to be, I think, a difficult thing. Um, I don't think any of this is going to be easy by any stretch. This is definitely one of those things where you're just like, because a lot of these I think are going to be the same thing. I think it's just going to be, um, where you could basically think of maybe one of a few tiers, that you could put these projects in. Because again, depends on where you're coming from, when you're
Hmm.
analyzing this stuff. And, you and I can end up doing this whole list and then find out that maybe if we did this a week later, it might be a little different,
Right.
you know? All right. So your turn comes. See what you get. Interesting that we got in movies so far. We haven't gotten any. Well, no, we did. We got Obi-Wan. Oh, Attack of the
Attack of the
Clones.
Clones. Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones.
Um, uh, I'm gonna go. I'll go B on that one.
You're gonna go B on Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, I think what was good about that is that like we really saw the progression of Anakin. We got like a lot of information in Attack of the Clones. Um, the whole Jango Fett thing, the whole watching Anakin's first descent, like not being able to save his mother, and like his first kind of steps really going into the dark. Um, his whole thing with Padme, him trying to control that, uh, and of course Yoda, and Dooku. That was a treat. So
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, I mean, I think overall, like the sequence of events were really good. So put that in B.
Yeah. I mean, once again, I probably would have put this. I think I
C.
probably would have put this in. Yeah, I probably would have put it in C, because again, I
Yeah.
see it as somewhat of a missed opportunity. Um, so it's a little strange. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, the guys are saying that this is actually being broadcast on a different episode. Um, so it must be a stream key issue. So I'll have to go in
Mm.
and fix that. I was wondering why we hadn't gotten any real chats. I mean, I see this. So that's what Ted was actually uh, trying to bring up to us. He's like, yeah, it's on Star Wars Episode 3 review. Oh, that's interesting. Well, yeah, I'll fix it later. I'm not gonna do it now because we're like in full swing on this one. So
Do it.
I could just simply retitle it or whatever. But basically, I don't know. You somehow got to. He was like, it's a different episode and it's not actually active, but you're watching it now, so oh. I did think it was weird that I wasn't getting any data on this. I should have probably really looked at that, but oh well. I didn't. Yeah, I see it. Chat's on another episode. All right, well, like I said, just chat in on that one, and then I'll fix it. He's going back and forth. Oh, I see. So the chat's actually on another episode. Weird, man.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I'll have to look at that. YouTube has been doing some really weird things for me lately. I will say that. All right. Yes, Ted, go back and forth. And then we'll put your chats up. All right. Is it my turn?
Yep.
Yeah, because you did Attack of the Clones. And I did put it up there, right? Yeah, I did.
Yep.
All right, so far everything's in B tier. So just to keep in mind, we technically only have 2 more movies or TV shows that we can put in B. So we have to be careful on that. Just to make it interesting. You gotta make it interesting. All right.
Oh
Ooh.
yeah, this is easy.
Yeah.
This is easy.
Yeah, this one's going. I'm telling you right now, it's going right
There you go.
right in D.
Yep, right in the dumps.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, and I would understand, by the way, if somebody actually said that they completely disagreed with this. I don't think anybody would, mind you, but some people could make the argument for C on this one. Oh, yeah, Dom.
Oh boy.
Yeah, Dom.
Yeah, I know
Dom's
Dom's
like,
chomping
y'all are
chomping
inflating
at the
the
bit.
ranks. He's like, you're inflating the ranks. Dude, I just put something in D. Relax. And Daryl's got his Sith hood on.
Right.
I mean, what do you want? Okay, so this is what Dom says. Dom says, first 6 movies in top tier. Don't bother ranking the rest.
I knew he was gonna
Okay.
say that.
So, yeah. Well, you know what, though? I mean, if you think about it from Dom's perspective, that's pretty generous. That's like probably a good 70, 60 or 70% of, well, actually, no, it's actually more like 30%. Because there's like 18 things that we're ranking. And he's talking about 6 of them. But no, the Book of Boba Fett deservedly goes into D. You could, like I said, some might actually make the argument that it could go into C because you could say it's a missed opportunity. But
It was so bad though.
it was, yeah, it really was. I mean,
It was just
I know
so bad.
Grandmaster because he's got his whole like little inside Lucasfilm status going, so sometimes he doesn't like it when we say some of this stuff. But you know what? There was just a lot of things that were bad. Because just when you thought things were picking up and they were getting
Yeah.
good, and honestly, and here is the thing that you can show people, just to give an example why this is indeed the best 2 episodes. Totally featured Din.
Mm-hmm.
It was like
And nothing to do. And
nothing to do with Boba Fett. He wasn't even in like an episode and a half or something. And those are the best ones. I mean, I'll say the finale was actually kind of cool, and I enjoyed that. But, they just made Boba Fett different. Like, and this is what's weird about that to me.
They brought him back in the Mandalorian.
Yes, that's what I
He
was
was
going
that
to say.
guy.
He was. And I think that that's what made it so bad, is the fact that they brought him back in the Mandalorian, and he was incredible. And then he gets his own show, and we're all hyped up about it, and we're thinking, okay, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. And half the time he's in the back to tank dreaming about his Sand People experience, which, by the way, I didn't. I thought that was kind of cool. I just think it went on too long.
Mhm.
But, so that, let's just say that that's a D, right? We'll just leave it at that. All right. It's your turn, I think. So the
Sir.
wheel spins round and round.
Wheels on the bus go round and round.
Oh, yes. Oh, I think we know.
Oh, we got another one for D. Great.
D for Daryl.
There we go. Oh my God, you want to talk about God awful? Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah.
I mean, even Lucasfilm knew that. They was like, yeah, we're not even doing another season of this. Jesus.
Yeah, I might have done the same thing. I would have just been like, dude, this is going straight into
Yeah.
D. Do not pass go. Do not collect $2 billion. Whatever.
You're
Uh,
right.
Dom basically says, can we make an absolute atrocity tier or dumpster fire tier? Well, I'll tell you what, if we did,
That's what
that's
D is for.
yeah.
D is dumpster fire.
Wait a minute. He says low key might be S tier. Are you talking about the Acolyte? I know you're not talking about the Acolyte.
Maybe he doesn't understand what S tier means.
Yeah, maybe. Well, so here's the thing. I mean, part of the problem with the Acolyte was, first of all, they set us up for something that didn't deliver.
Didn't happen.
Yeah, he is talking about the Acolyte. So you like the Acolyte? That right there tells me everything I need.
Yep.
But yeah, we thought it was going to be this whole Sith-centric show, that it was going to show kind of like the Sith side of the training. Oh, yeah, okay. I think he's trolling again. 'Cause,
Yeah, he's getting here trying to be 50 Cent. He about to make me T.I. all of a sudden now.
well, here we go. See, I like Moonlit Atlas Officials. I like what he says. Doesn't even belong on the board. Acolyte is just god awful.
Absolutely.
And then of course,
Absolutely.
Dom is I can tell he's trolling because he says that one chant that went the power of one, the power of many carried the show.
Right.
Yeah, the Acolyte, I mean, again, it was something that should have been cool and could have been cool. And once again, because they tried to cram a bunch of, modern social issues and, try to use it as a platform for that a little bit, not as much as I actually expected them to go. Like the way that Leslie Headland and some of the cast members were talking before the premiere of the show,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oof, I don't know
Yeah,
what to expect.
definitely raised an eyebrow.
Yeah, but I was surprised by actually how little of it there was. And I will say that, of course, the character of Kamir, I really liked him. I thought that he was an intriguing Sith Lord type character, but in episode 5 of that show did have some of the best action and lightsaber duels, arguably, of the
Yeah.
franchise. But I mean, outside of that, and
Yeah.
it almost sounds like, people could go, well, why don't you put it in C? Because C is a missed opportunity tier. Well, because it was just
Yeah.
awful, you know? I mean, we don't have anything in C yet, but, I'm sure whatever we put in C probably just won't. I mean, you can't put it on the same level as the Acolyte. And by the way, when we filled up all these, the final thing we have to do is put each of them in like order. So from, best to least or whatever.
Oh boy.
Yeah, well, I know that's going to be tough. So Moonlight basically says it was just clear the showrunner hated Star Wars, never understood the assignment. And then Dom says, I think D is very generous. Yeah, I mean, it is. And honestly, this is funny. When I was making this tier list, I almost put an F tier in just for the Acolyte. But I felt that was basically low hanging fruit, right? Come on. All right. So you got the Acolyte, right?
hmm
Funny how there's only like two of us, and I'm still having a hard time keeping track. All right, let's see what we got. Ooh, Return of the Jedi, our first original trilogy movie. Well, so here's the thing that's kind of funny about that one. You would think obviously that I would put that in S, but I'm not going to. I'm going to put that in A because there's three. Remember, we can only put three in S tier. Now I don't know what you're gonna do if depending on what movies you get, but there's three movies. I should say three projects that I'm thinking of for S tier. Return of the Jedi is close, obviously, but there's just a few that I think just edge it out. If we're being honest, I know it's part of the untouchable golden era of Star Wars, right? The original trilogy, the untouchable. But I'll make my case should that come up. But for now, I'm gonna go ahead and put the Return of the Jedi in the 8 because again,
Okay.
A is essential Star Wars, and I believe wholeheartedly that it's essential Star Wars. And look, I mean, it's got some of the greatest moments, right?
hmm
The whole like the whole thing with the Emperor and everything else. But again, there's some unevenness to it, and I just think it's like right below S. Now, of course, there's a little bit of a debate uh in the chats between Dom and Moonlight, which I'll go ahead and get to some of this because it's fun. So first, Dom was like, the budget used for these absolute flops are better off being donated to charity. That was his troll thing. But then he says, Return of the Jedi is S tier. You are tripping. And then, of course, Moonlight says, nah, A tier for sure. Agree on that. And then, of course, Dom's like, holy disrespect. And then, of course, here we go. Moonlight, it had Ewoks, man. Come on. It's just right. And that's and that's pretty much it. I mean, again, there's a lot of good things, but I think it's essential Star Wars, but I don't think it's peak Star Wars. What about you? What do you think?
I'm with you on that. I mean, I will put it in A. As much as I love Return of the Jedi, I still have to put it in
Well, yeah, and here's another thing too, by the way. I'm sure that you're probably thinking along the same lines, but we're trying to also be objective, not subjective about this.
A.
It's like if we're being honest, because I too love Return of the Jedi. To be honest, so Empire is my favorite of all of them, right? But I would easily put Return of the Jedi of the original trilogy. It's my second favorite one. So I mean, and then of course Ted agreed that Jedi is the lowest ranked of the original, and then he goes on to say Star Wars, meaning A New Hope, and Empire are S. Well, we'll see when we get to it, won't we? All right, you ready for yours?
Yep.
This is fun. We should do this more often. Although I promise I'll put it on the right actual show. Glad you guys caught it. Ooh, is it The Last Jedi? It is.
So,
Hey man, you know what? It's too bad Ronaldo hasn't been watching lately, dude. He would put this in S for sure.
yeah. Uh, I'm gonna have to put that in D.
You put it in D.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a toss up between that and C. But I think D just because it's so divisive. It's one that pretty much divided the fans. Um,
Yeah, I didn't even think about it because I myself probably would have put it in C because, I mean, again, I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's a bad
Yeah,
Star Wars movie. It
yeah,
had,
it's just
you know, but I might have put it in C, but I can, this is another one of those. I can totally see and even hang because not only could you focus on the problems of it, I mean, there's even an argument to put it in B, honestly, because, B is one of those, you know, just because of it's good but flawed kind of thing, but I think that it goes beyond that, especially because, like you said, it is the movie that divided all the like, it's the one that started the entire toxicity of the fan
yeah.
base, and so for that alone, it should be punished.
Yeah, even though the star Mark Hamill's like, yeah, I don't think this is what my character. I mean, it's just mm,
No, I
yeah,
basically would, I would agree with that. I I have no problems with it. It's not one of those where, I'm saying like, "Oh, well, I would have put it, like say in C or something." And it's like, I vehemently disagree with that or something. Mm-mm. No, I'm good with it because another
I
thing that a lot of
strenuously
these,
object.
well, a lot of this thing that people do to further gamify these things, although with just two of us, I don't think it's 100% necessary, but a lot of times when they'll have like, four or five guys doing this, they'll allow people to like move, right? So you can, like, let's say you fill up the category and it's kind of like, but you really want to put a particular project in that category, you can bump something else, you can do that. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's usually more fun when you have more people. All right. Uh, so that was The Last Jedi. That was you. Now we move to me. Let's see what we got. Get, we're gonna get it. I think I got it. Solo.
Ah, appropriate.
Yeah, exactly. Now Solo, you know,
I'm glad I didn't get this one.
yeah, this one's a
I'm glad I didn't get
well,
this
let's
one.
see. Dom, unsurprisingly, Dom thinks it goes in D. Dom, you're not gonna like my choice. I'm not gonna put it in S. Don't worry. It's like this is my S tier movie. No, um, no, I'm gonna throw Solo in B. Good
Right?
but flawed. Just to remind you guys, so basically A is like, or I'm sorry, S is like top tier, peak Star Wars, just amazing, right?
Hmm.
A is essential Star Wars. B is good but flawed. C is missed potential, and then of course D has got major. So I would say Solo is good but flawed. It actually does capture the essence of Star Wars, the fun, the storytelling. It's good, but it does have some flaws. I mean, if we're being honest, it's not a perfect movie by any stretch. But I think overall, it pretty much sits nicely and fits that B category nicely. The nod means he concurs.
Yeah,
Uh,
I guess. Yeah, yeah.
oh, so Dom, really, dude?
Oh boy.
It's like 6.9 on IMDb. Like, I care about that. Half the movies I like are like that. It says anything under 7.5 is trash. And then, of course, for a real comment, Moonlight comes in and says, I mean, we got the mall cameo. Good in theory, right? And that's it. I mean, and look, Donald Glover as Lando, I thought did a spot on job at capturing a young Lando. There's a lot of really good stuff. I mean, and if you guys are curious, and Dom, you should definitely do this. One, because it boosts our numbers, and two, because it's actually relevant in your case. You should really go back to our What is Star Wars series where we go through every single one, not the shows, but the movies. Did we did Rogue One and Solo too, I think. I
Think
think
so.
we included those. Where we went back and we reviewed every one of them. like in-depth reviews too. So it'll give you guys, a little bit. Moonlight says if it was made 15 years ago, would have had better potential. Well, here's another thing, and this is something you and I always bring. If it hadn't followed like 5 months after The Last Jedi, the movie that just basically
Hmm.
obliterated the fan base and put the first chink in the armor of Star Wars, it probably would have done better then too. That's
For
the
sure.
biggest thing I think. Is that, and then of course they didn't really market it very well in my opinion. So,
Nope.
there were a lot of reasons I think why it didn't quite uh
Land.
yeah, quite land. All right, before you spin the wheel on this one, Tom says Solo, Rogue One, Andor, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, Ray movies, Mandalorian, all should go in D. That's a lot. It's not really much of a thing. And then of course Moonlight's like, bruh, quit trolling. Mando and Andor are amazing. It's gonna be interesting to see where they land. And actually we might see this pretty soon. The wheels coming down here. And I think you're gonna get Mandalorian.
Nope.
Yep.
Oh.
Got the Mandalorian.
We'll put Mando in A.
100% agree. That's exactly where I would have put it to.
I think it was a fresh take for a different look of Star Wars. The fact that we're following a nameless bounty hunter that it's not someone that we know like Django or Boba Fett or a Singh or anybody like that, Bosk. But it was just like like okay, we find this guy, he's a bounty hunter, and then his whole quest is kind of sidetracked in a way. I come across this one asset that happens to be Baby Yoda, and just watching that, learning about the culture, um, kind of learning about where Baby Yoda kind of came from, how old he is, and his force abilities. You had great casting with Nick Nolte as the um,
Yeah, that little Ugnaught. I keep forgetting
Ugnaught.
Krill. Krill, I think, was his
Krill.
name.
Yep, yep. And then, of course, the late Carl Weathers. That's Grief Karga. Great casting. Um, Bill Burr, Gina Carano, and you had a lot of great casting in this particular show. Uh, Werner Herz, is it? I always mess up his name.
Oh, Werner Herzog.
Thank you. Um, was cool, and then of course, you know, Moff Gideon, Giancarlo Esposito. Like I said, that casting was just really good, um, and I really just love the story. The story was really good. Sure, when we got to season 3, yeah, it had some issues, but that whole end of season 2,
Yeah. Well, and I was gonna say season 1 and 2.
that's chef's kiss right there.
It
That's
is. It is. And I mean, again, it's funny we're doing this now because of course the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is gonna come out, and naturally,
hmm
that's gonna have a ranking on here too eventually. But yeah, I think that
yep.
when you factor that in, you can almost overlook 3. 3 had some issues, obviously, and honestly, you could almost argue putting this almost, not quite. I do believe that there is something else deserving of S tier. It's not, leave it at that. And I don't know which one of us is going to get it. But you could almost argue the S tier thing, except the problem is you do have season 3. And it wasn't just like a couple of episodes. I mean, it was a whole season that started out okay and then just, I think, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Not devolved, but not degenerated. Just basically went down.
Dissolved, disintegrated.
One of those. All right, so basically, let's see. We got Moonlit basically said it's an original story. Star Wars 100% needed it. Absolutely. And this, of course, Dom tells us everything we need to know. He said, saw the trailer and it had not announced a story in it. Did you watch the show? And then, of course, Moonlit says this is the way. And he says that if it wasn't for the consistent side quests that drag on, I put Mando in S tier for sure. Yeah. Of course, they're well, okay. I will actually give Dom credit on this one because you could make the argument. He says Mandalorian reminds me of Stranger Things. One season ruins the entire thing. And yeah, he's talking about the movie trailer about the ounce of story. And I don't 100% disagree with that either. You can sort of glean the story of the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer, but I am curious. Like I said, I'm excited to see it, but and then Moonlight agrees with us. Grandmaster was like really not happy when we picked on the Super Bowl trailer, but Moonlight says the trailer during the Super Bowl was definitely a troll. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, look, Mandalorian season 3 definitely did put a damper on the whole thing. It was really doing so well until it wasn't. All right. So you got the Mandalorian, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my brain is working today. What do I get? Oh man, I got Ahsoka. Ugh. Where to put Ahsoka?
Now where that goes.
Yeah.
Come
I'm really
on.
looking. You know what?
The virginity.
Yep. Yep.
It's
exactly. Yep. You got it. You got it.
I know.
C tier, buddy.
That's right.
Yep. C tier, without question. And actually, Dom's not really wrong on this one. He said Hayden carried Ahsoka. And I would actually agree with some of that for sure. Moonlight said C for sure till we get substance. Well, yeah. I mean, look. And then Ted actually comes in and says Mando season 1 and 2 S. I could actually almost go along with that. And then he says Mando season 3 B. Yeah, you average them out, and that's why it goes an A. But Ahsoka, yeah. I mean, Ahsoka, this is another one we were really looking forward to. I remember we were so hyped when the trailer came. And then for the first chunk of it, maybe like third of it at least, you were wondering whose show this was. Because we were seeing more of Sabine's story than we were Ahsoka. And I always joke that, a great drinking game would be every time that Ahsoka crosses her arms to take a drink and you'd be crashed by 5 or 10 minutes in. And it did pick up, but there was some really what was that whole thing with where they infiltrated the thing and she was all like, for the Empire or whatever before she got killed or something. And I just remember when that episode aired, we just trashed it. I mean, because nothing made sense. That was the problem with the writing, and that was the other thing too with Dave Filoni. He's really good with animation. He's not there yet with live action. I think he will be. But I just wish he wasn't cutting, his teeth on live action with Ahsoka, even though I know it's his character basically. But yeah, man, I don't know.
Yeah, Ahsoka definitely. A lot of wooden acting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like remember the scene between Ezra and Sabine? I mean, toward the end when they were riding those whatever beasts.
Yeah.
It looked and sounded like they were reading off a teleprompter. Yeah. Like they were
Yep.
just reading off something. There was like
The best
nothing.
thing about Ahsoka was Balin.
Yes.
Even
Or
uh
Shati.
Thrawn.
What
Oh,
was her name?
not
Yeah.
Shakti.
Shati. It's like
We always forget her name.
I know. Something like
Shiati or
that.
something.
Something like that. But she was good.
Shiante, whatever her name.
Yeah,
You know.
right. Hey,
But
Aaron.
right. But yeah. I mean, even Skarsgård as Thrawn. I mean, left a lot to, be desired in some cases. So yeah, definitely see.
Yeah. Well, and basically, because I know we gotta move this, but Moonlight was basically he he agrees pretty
He
much.
agrees.
Ted basically thinks that Ahsoka should be S plus. He's like, I gotta put this one up. He says, I'm
Yes,
the only
plus.
one for this. Ahsoka S plus. But he loves Ahsoka.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. But you know what? Here's the thing that I gotta say. Not backpedaling or anything in any way. But I remember at the time that we were reviewing Ahsoka, we both said that we actually enjoyed it. Like we had fun watching it and it was cool. It was just there were just so many issues with it though that were just tough to ignore. And I think you and I both agreed that it just kept taking us out of it.
Yeah.
Certain things you can overlook and be like, okay, this is awesome. I'm going to overlook this. But it's like every time you were getting into something, something would take you out of it. But,
Yeah.
if it, but it was, I think it was pretty successful. I know on our Discord, Grandmaster basically put the numbers of everything. I think even the movies, but he definitely did the sequel trilogy as well as all the Disney Plus shows. So all that's there. Okay, so I think it's your turn now.
hmm
So we go back to the Star Wars
Wheel
wheel.
of Calamity.
Yes.
That's the
Which
awesome
one?
animated
Oh,
movies.
you're gonna get the golden one.
S tier, baby.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah. It's
that
no
one's got
place.
to go. That's just like a no brainer right
It's the
there.
golden goose.
Golden Goose, and it's also our first S tier.
Yes, it is.
Actually, it's our first S tier. But look, I mean, what do we even have to say? I don't. This is
Nothing.
widely regarded by even film students, filmmakers, like colleges, university, everybody generally agrees that not only is this the best Star Wars movie, it's actually the best sequel ever made. That's pretty much what a lot of people still say about this.
Yeah, because most sequels don't outshine the original. This
Right,
one actually did.
right, right. Now, of course, Dom thinks that Empire should be in D, and which, of course, Moonlit.
What?
Yeah, Moonlit. Well, that's basically what Moonlit said. Then he also said that's S tier for sure. Dom was like, I think that's the weakest out of the original three, which is that I don't understand. The only way that I can understand somebody maybe thinking.
That's just egregious. I think we really
well,
need to check.
well, if
No,
you
no, no. I'm serious. I think we really need to take some time and really see if he needs some like rehab. Yeah, I don't know what these kids are snorting and smoking these days.
psychological, it's Tide Pods. Everybody's chewing
Yeah,
Tide Pods these days. These
Tide
days,
Pods. Cinnamon challenges, all that crap.
right?
You know, Jesus Christ.
But depending on the type of person that you are, because remember, there's people that actually think Star Wars is horrible. Depending on what kind of a person you are, if you look at A New Hope and you look at Return of the Jedi, they're a little bit more of that swashbuckling, fun type of a thing, right? Um, but Empire's a little bit darker. It's a little bit more, character driven. So I could see somebody maybe liking it the least out of the. Not really. It's like a perfect movie. And then Moonlit says, "I think we need to check if this is Kathleen Kennedy." All right. So next on the wheel, see, you got him. Strikes back. All right, I'll take this.
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith. Wow, but you know what? This one's kind of tough for me.
Mm-hmm. Figured it would be.
Yeah, this one's a little difficult, I gotta admit, because I'm going back and forth between A and B. I mean, man, you know what? I think I'm gonna go A.
Last decision.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go A because it arguably is the best of the prequels, no doubt. And I mean, there's a lot of great moments. And again, A is essential Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
and it is the best of the prequels, and it does have a lot in there. There's a lot of meat on that bone. There's a lot of character development. There's a lot going on. There's depth and complexity. A lot of the issues that plague the prequels don't plague this one simply because of the fact that you know, it pretty much outlines a lot of the things that we have been waiting for. So, the whole Anakin, Obi-Wan thing, the Yoda Emperor thing, all that stuff. But also,
Mm-hmm.
let's not forget that Steven Spielberg actually did have some, I don't know if input is the right word, because I know he directed a scene or two and he punched up some of the script, I think. Because remember, he was actually supposed to direct.
Yeah, he has some authority on this.
Yeah. So, I mean, and I think it shows. I think it shows in the movies. Everybody is pretty much saying S or A tier. Um, and then Dom also says above Mando. And again, we'll go and we'll rank each of the rows, when we're all done. But I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily have an issue with that. Let's see. Moonlit, this one up. He says, I'm going A, best of the prequels. And then above Mando, he says, tough call, but yeah, generally above Mando, best cinematic movie of the prequels. It's the movie of the moment we all knew was coming. And yeah, that's the thing. And unlike a lot of other movies that are in the same type of a situation, they did tie everything up nicely. They gave us what we expect. Now the novel was better. I remember you and I were a little disappointed actually because we read the novel. It's the only time, and I think both of us did this. It's the only time we read the novel before seeing the movie. And of course, we're just completely hyped for everything that was in the book, and we're like, "Wait a minute! The whole beginning scene, the whole like Palpatine rescue scene, and all that was cut short. What's going on?" Let's see. Ted says, "Revenge of the Sith S tier for the transformation to Vader alone." I can see that, but again, there's like a couple movies, a couple projects, maybe. I don't know. See, well, we're getting down there for sure. Um, we only have like 6 movies left. I mean, still a lot, but considering that we're doing 18 of these things, this is pretty good. All right, I believe it's your turn.
Mm-hmm.
Look at me knowing things. Here we go.
Mm.
I know what I would do with this. Let's see what you'll do with it.
Ay, ay, ay. What else do we have?
carry the two.
Right, divided by 5,
Yeah.
equivalent to 9. Uh, I think I gotta put it in S, man.
Heck yes. That's
I gotta put it in
exactly.
S.
You got to put this in S.
Yeah, because I mean, without this, I mean, we don't have anything else. First of all,
Well, and
second of all,
yeah.
it's the it's the perfect story of like the hero's journey. It really kind of bookends itself. Like you really don't even need a sequel at the end of this, technically.
Well,
Um,
yes, it's the only complete. That's why he actually started with 4 because it was the only complete one.
right.
Dom
But the
agrees, by the
characters
way.
though, but the characters though, they rehab. So, but no, I think the characters, from R2D2, the 3PO, Vader, of course, the big three, Obi-Wan. Um, I think that this is just um, it's revolutionary, and I think that's just one of the main reasons why you have to have that in S tier. Is just
Oh
it's
yeah.
so revolutionary that like so many things are based off of this. You know how he based Flash Gordon off of this. Everybody else is based, their stuff off Star Wars. So
Right. And basically everybody is chiming in on this one. Dom says like S plus. Ted's like S S S S S. Dom's like best movie, and then Moonlit is like yeah, S for sure. So it's a good thing that because you're going back and forth. It's a good that you looks like you would have been crucified by the audience if you
yeah,
had chosen like A or something. But
yeah, Easterwood, it came early for me.
yeah, look, right. In 3 days
Good Friday, man.
we'll do another podcast. But basically, look, this is the only one that was nominated for like a gajillion Oscars. A lot of Star Wars movies have been nominated for technical ones. This one, like the actual ones that most people care about, it is the perfect origin movie. I mean, it was handled just flawlessly. I mean, this is one of the movies to base everything else on, which is why it's so remarkable that Empire Strikes Back is widely regarded because it took everything that was great about A New Hope and it expounded on it. So, yeah, this is without question. Now, we do have room for one more S tier. I mean, I guess if we really want to relax the rules a little bit, we can put stuff wherever we want, but let's see what we got. Is my turn. Skeleton Crew. All right. This one was actually kind of a surprise. I remember how you and I at first, I remember we would talk about this and we would just be like, Skeleton Crew? Who cares about Skeleton Crew?
Right.
You know? But, I mean, look, it ended up being a really good series. Now, granted, it's a little bit more slighted to kids, which is what we thought it was going to be. We thought it was going to be
Hmm.
almost like a live action version of Resistance. And it wasn't. And the kids were not stupid like child actory type. Like they did a great job with their characters. They were just really good. I think so. Basically, the idea is we get 3 in S, we get 4 in B, 5 in C, and like 3 or 4 in D, and then or C and then D. So I think I'm gonna make this the fifth. I think I'm gonna make it the fifth B because it was real. I thought this was a great movie, and it was or show, and it was actually somewhat of a surprise. I thought that It actually, because I remember you and I, even when we were reviewing it, we're just blown away by how good it was. Because it went from being something that we were not looking forward to at all. I remember we were even entertaining the idea of not even bothering with it. And then
Hmm.
we decided, okay, you know what? It's an official series. We need to at least do it. But we kind of thought it was going to fall under Visions, that kind of thing, right? Where it's like we're doing it because we have to. But I remember both of us, every time we reviewed it, we're like, man, I cannot believe how good this is. Now, some of our guys, of course, Dom says D, one word, which, I guess if
It's
you're gonna,
basically Stranger Things in Star Wars.
it is Stranger Things. That's a good way of looking at it. So Moonlit says, I gotta go B. Remember, Star Wars was for kids. Yep. Original
Hmm.
show.
Yep,
Uh,
it was.
Ted said, Skeleton Crew was a solid A for me. I was tempted. Believe me, I was tempted. It was so
Mhm.
enjoyable. It felt like an 80s adventure. And then Moonlit
Yes.
said, Jude Law's character was mysterious as intended. Also, lore expansion, it equals a win. And yeah, I mean, trust me, I was going back and forth on that one. I really was. I was going back and forth but, we have to see where everything else ends up falling. All right. We have four more. See which one you get. The Rise of Skywalker.
D.
Well, at least you don't have to think about it too hard.
Ugh.
That one for you is going in D. Where did I have it? Because I wrote this. stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
so
had it
probably
in
C.
D. No, I had
Oh,
it in D.
yeah, then D. Okay.
And again,
Yeah, D.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's the pacing was atrocious. It
Yeah, it
felt
was
there was
pretty
no
fast.
tension. You couldn't feel any tension because it was going so fast. They tried to cram everything in there. Um, it just lacked a lot of development. There's some stupid things in there like the horses or whatever the heck those things were running on the. I mean, it was just
Yeah,
like,
riding on a Star
oh,
Destroyer. It's like,
that was this what?
that's like the kind of
Like it's
stuff
a
you.
weird Braveheart. Like
It's
I'm
like
like,
something
come
you
on,
come up with when you're high.
exactly. And
I
I'm just
mean,
like, yeah.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
No, I agree. I mean, for the few things that you could say were good, there's just so much that's bad.
So
So
much.
much.
So yeah, that's definitely a D.
And then of course, we don't even find out how Palpatine returns unless we play Fortnite.
Hmm.
So there's that too. Yeah, no. We're in 100% agreement there. So Dom starts us off by saying Rey is no Skywalker. I,
Got that
I hear that. Uh
right.
Moonlit says I'm making a new category. Get the out. Dom says lower than D. Moonlit's like somehow Palpatine returned. Yeah.
Right.
Um yeah, it just I don't even want to spend any more time talking about that one. Although, again, I mean, was it fun and all that stuff? Yeah, but it was, objectively, it was bad. All
Yeah,
right.
that's
And
it.
then, well, wait, let me get this one more in before we spin the wheel for what will be my choice. Writers literally had a stroke during writing and facepalm the keyboard. Wow. Okay. That was good. I like that one. What am I going to get here? Ooh, the Phantom Menace, it looks like. And you know what's funny? That actually leaves kind of a prequel series and a movie. Let's see. The Phantom Menace. Yeah, it's gonna go in C. I can tell you that
See,
right now. Just
yep,
just by everything
yep,
else that's on the
yep.
board, it's gonna go in C. You know.
Absolutely.
And again, see, just as a reminder, missed potential, which it is. I mean, there's a lot that now, of course, Dom actually. Well, this is kind of interesting. This is the first time that he ranks something higher than us.
Wow.
But you know what,
Probably like
Dom,
Jar
you're actually violating your own ranking because you said the first six go into S and everything else goes into D.
Jar.
So
That is true.
just saying. And he basically says it's above Solo for me. He's like, don't do Liam like that. Be at best. Yeah, I mean, I can see why people might want to put it in B because again, B is pretty much good but flawed. And I look, you guys, you rank it in B, I would have no issues with that. I really wouldn't. But I do think that oh, just for the Jar Jar presence alone,
Yeah.
it took up too much of the movie. The pod racing thing, you know, Anakin, like, what could have been like a nice, exciting space battle turned into like a Muppet movie, you know? Now, this is pod racing. Oh, what happens if I do this?
Yeah.
Whoa. I mean, it's
This
like,
is
come
this is a
on,
neat
man.
trick.
Yeah, this is like supposed to be, at least make them a little bit more mature. I mean, the kids in Skeleton Crew were more mature than
Right.
this.
Then you have to Teletubby Land.
Yeah, I mean, it just, a lot of it was about like trade federation routes and things like that. And like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of good stuff in this movie too. Both Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor were, you know, fantastic. Natalie Portman was too, but again, a lot of this, and I'll be honest, a lot of the prequel trilogy suffered because George Lucas does not know how to direct actors. And a
Great
lot of the
part, aka Darth Maul, saved this movie.
yes, yes,
Hands down.
yes, because if you remove the Darth Maul aspect of it, it probably goes to D to be honest,
Trash.
or maybe a low C. You know, okay. So now going to the chats. Oh yeah, see, Moonlit said it too, but purely for the pod racing, I see C. And then he goes on to say, even for a kids movie, Anakin was cringe, 100%. And then Dom, yes, to be fair, it's hard to like kid actors. I mean
Are you
that
an angel?
oh man. See, the dialogue was horrible. That's a big part of it too. The dialogue
Yeah.
was horrible and his direction because remember, this is the first like purely green screen. They would be in this warehouse full of like nothing but green screen and Lucas is essentially going, "Well, just act." You're taking like these Oscar nominated or Oscar winning actors and they have this stilted wooden dialogue. It's like, yeah, it just, I don't know, it stays in C. I don't, I was actually like, yeah, well, you know what, maybe, but, B's pretty much filled up anyway. Okay. So it's going to be interesting to me because I definitely have some strong-ish feelings about where each of these movies should go. So I'm really curious on either one of these where you're going to put it. Looks like Rogue One.
Uh,
Dom thinks, well, they should both go in D. Unsurprising. D is pretty crowded for you, Dom.
I'm gonna go A.
That's exactly what I would have done. Exactly what I would have done. Yeah, this one.
Um, I think it's a phenomenal movie. Um, Great story, great characters. Love the connective tissue that they use to uh, connect this to A New Hope. I love the use of Vader. They didn't use him too much, used him just enough. That ending, oh Jesus,
Oh man, yeah. The
Mm,
just the Vader
oh
ending alone.
my God. But um,
Yeah, which by the way, Moonlit says too. A is the correct choice if for the Vader scene alone. And
that's what I'm
Dom, of
saying.
course, Dom's giving us a little bit, maybe a low C.
Oh my Lord.
He's giving you a little
Uh,
bit right there.
but yeah, um, just the stakes were good. You really felt like, okay, hey, we got to get this thing, we got to get these plans, and how do the relationship between Jen and her father, and you know, the whole scene where they're trying to like use those little arms to find the plans. And
Yeah, you know,
K2SO like sacrifices himself. Like that whole scene, man, was just really
most people actually forget about that scene in particular, and then the Death Troopers and Krennic are coming in, and
yeah.
yeah, that whole scene where they were trying to get the plans. It's funny because a lot of people don't even mention that scene.
hmm That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of great things and ironically, it's a lot of things that were taken out
Yeah.
because
Well, yeah.
there, you look at the trailer, it's like, hey, I don't, what the heck happened to that scene? But yeah, I think overall, I think it was a really good, and I think it's essential because I think um, it fills in the gap for a lot of people as far as for episode 4.
Absolutely. Ted says Rogue One is an A at the very least. So yeah. So I think we're all good with that. All right. Well, gee, I wonder which one I'm gonna get. Just doing this
Yeah,
because, I mean, why not, right?
right.
Let's see, before I rank this, uh it says showed the rebellion was a struggle, not the well-built machine everyone who just saw a New Hope thought. And that's exactly it. Okay. Because it's like, we got 3 slots for S. Can we move Return of the Jedi up? Andor is not an S. Moonlit says Andor is an S. I say Andor is totally an S. Because again, peak Star Wars, dude, Andor is just an incredible series. And it really didn't have any real. I mean, I do remember there was an episode or two, I think in season 1, where we were kind of like, but it was, it's just, it just represents what Star Wars is capable of being beyond the Skywalker saga, even though it takes place during the Skywalker saga. The writing was great, very smart. The dialogue was great. Um, just
Characters, man.
the characters,
Luthen, Cyril,
yeah,
Dedra,
yeah.
man.
Just the tension. When they were trying to go in and hide what they were doing, and Luthen would have to pretend to just be like this antique stealer, and then Mon Mothma and dealing with her family, almost being outed as a spy. I mean, it just. And then when you look and see, because you remember these images from the prequel trilogy, but when you see like the Senate, pod room or whatever, and it was only
Or
like maybe 30% full, and you can, that right there just encapsulate, okay, they're going through the motions, but it's all ceremonial. Palpatine is
hmm
really in control. He's letting this go on to just make it seem like it was the old republic, that not the old republic, but the republic they were used to, but it was really the empire at that point. And just
that scene
watching.
with that scene with Krennic when he had Dedra in the chair and he put his finger on her head, and
Oh yeah, that was just,
man, that whole
yeah.
interrogation scene, I was like, man,
Yeah, that was just, and just the way that they showed the rebellion
yeah,
and how it was being built. And again, I mean, this strengthens Moonlit's point from before about the fact that, it's not just everything that we saw in A New Hope, where it was all clean and it was like the good guys, bad guys, and it was just this fully formed rebellion or something. I mean, it really showed that there was a lot that went into building it. And I also thought it set up a lot of the scenes in Rogue One very nicely.
Hmm.
When you had at the end of Rogue One where everybody was somewhat disjointed in what they thought, and of course you had Saw Gerrera and he had his way of doing things, and Mon Mothma had her way, and then there was a lot of fragmentation, even when they were trying to decide what to do in a very clear way. Um, you just had they just brilliantly encapsulated this just perfectly. So yeah, for that reason, I definitely think that it definitely deserves that. All right, let me get to some of these. Well, Daryl takes care of whatever just happened to him. Um, you're so contrary. Not a single show deserves S tier. All right. Moonlight's like it's like watching a slow wick burn until the explosion goes off. 100% agree. Ted says Andor is equivalent to Rogue One for me. Yep, I would absolutely agree with that. Let's see. Moonlit says showed the foundation of what a rebellion is. Didn't just show it in a flash. It felt like it was built from the ground up. Yeah. Uh, I could definitely see the whole slow burn aspect of it, being really, really appealing to even people who are not Star Wars fans. And I think that that's something that needs to be said too. Is that Tony Gilroy was not a Star Wars fan. He'd hardly even seen them. Gareth Edwards basically was the one that was responsible for most of Rogue One, but then Tony Gilroy came in and kind of punched it up a little bit. And when there was some reshoots and everything, he's the one that basically took the helm. And then, of course, he took the helm of the series, and it shows. And most of the time, when you have a Star Wars fan who's doing the series, you think that it would be in better hands. And if you hear, oh, this person's not even a fan of the show or the movie, you get a little bit scared because you're like, well, I don't know how they're going to do it. Now, you look at J.J. Abrams and what he did with Star Trek. I thought the Star Trek movies he did were good. Why? He wasn't a fan. He gave it a fresh approach. He was a super fan of Star Wars, and look what he did to it. So, Filoni does the same thing sometimes. It's almost like you're too close to it. Let's see. Let me get some of these other ones real quick. Ted says, I could see Andor getting higher than Jedi. Yeah, absolutely. Of course, Dom doesn't agree. uh, let's see. Yeah, I would agree that Moonlit says that Andor deserved more seasons. And then Ted basically says, well, it's a good thing I increased the character. He says, I will watch all of Andor they would give me. The best line is welcome to the rebellion. And also the monologue for Andor is as good as any movie or TV. So yeah, absolutely. Um, yeah, I just think that overall, you know, when you're looking at something like Andor and you look at these projects the way that they are, you have to take into consideration a couple. First of all, obviously, it's all the stuff that we look for, is the writing good? Is the execution good? Is the acting good? The directing, that sort of thing. But when it comes to Star Wars as well, you do have to look at, is it following the template that Lucas set forth? And that doesn't necessarily mean copying everything that Lucas did or even trying to, recreate and remake the same movie over and over again, which is kind of where they fell short, in my opinion, on The Force Awakens, is the fact that it was clever on one hand, that it's almost like poetry. They wanted to basically give you the same rhymes and beats and all that stuff. So it felt familiar and it brought you back into that world. But there's a fine line between doing something like that and then just basically rehashing the same story. And what Andor managed to do, and I think that this is what was so brilliant about it, is that it managed to expand the story, honor the franchise, and give us a really smart, intelligent series. And you guys are right. I mean, they could have gone probably another. In fact, it originally was supposed to go, I think, like 4 or 5 seasons. And he decided to cut it down to just the 2, which may or may not have actually helped it, because the risk of going too many seasons is now you get a lot of filler episodes. The risk of going too short, which is what I think partially hurt Obi-Wan, is the fact that, you're rushing through things and certain things might be disjointed, and you need to let a series breathe a little bit. So I think that that's basically it. Oh yeah, and then Moonlit, this is a good one too. Says, "Oh man, that Naimo song from the wedding, yeah, that was really cool. That whole scene was great. Ted's mom losing herself in that moment was great storytelling, and it was great acting." And Moonlit said, ultimately the smart move. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of great acting in that scene. Connie's back. Are you back audio-wise too?
Yes, sir.
All right. So yeah, I mean, you're good. That's the whole thing about Andor, I think, is just all those things are what made it so brilliant. So yeah, that was our ranking show. It's just too bad that it actually didn't go on the real event that we had scheduled. So I will have to do a little bit of cleanup tomorrow to ensure that everything's cool, but I'll have that all taken care of by the next one. And now that we've actually road tested the way that all this stuff works and I've got it all working properly, because that's the other thing too, is that I had to try to get all this stuff working right. Technology sometimes. Even though this is basically what I do, sometimes it doesn't even cooperate with me. But yeah, this is fun. This is fun.
Mhm.
We could do this on a lot of different things. I mean, instead of just doing the generic, oh, here's your top 5 this or top 10 that, we can actually just do the wheel and be like, all right, let's rank whatever. So, maybe like once a month or something, we'll do something like this, because it is a lot of fun and it gets everybody. Yeah, I know. I had a great time doing this.
Definitely.
All right, well, as usual, you guys know the drill. If you liked it, or even if you didn't, hit the like button. hit the subscribe button so you guys don't miss it. And of course, if you do subscribe, make sure you hit the notification bell, because you never know when we're going to go live. We shoot for Sundays at 8, but it's Monday at 8 that we went out this week. So you'll definitely want to check us out. We're going to try to introduce some more stuff like this, try to give a little bit more variety even to our episodes, so you don't want to miss that. Was there anything that we were going to try to do next week? Do we have anything, or are we just going to wait and see what happens?
Just wait and see what happens.
Yeah, we could do that, because honestly, there's a lot going on with Starfighter. There's some things going on. So, all right, I think with that, we'll wrap this one up. As usual, thanks for joining us. Hope you guys had a good time. I'm Eric Vansel.
I'm Daryl Sanders.
May the Force be with you.
Always.
Head to Head, a Star Wars podcast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter @HeadToHeadSW. Submit your questions for our next show. Visit our official website at headtoheadswpodcast.com. Until next time, may the Force be with you, always.